Good afternoon, everyone. Halloween Eve and November 1st, I was in Glastonbury in the UK talking about the grand solar minimum here in Glastonbury Town Hall. I was with Piers Corbyn, Sandi Adams, and Mark Windows on the World. It was a venue and discussion about real-world problems that we're facing, everything from 5G rollout to this grand solar minimum, crop losses, and things that are going to amplify because the sun is the driver of our climate. We are now into the 11-year solar minimum, and it's expected to have incredibly low solar activity for the next 2 solar cycles. And we know through history, when solar activity declines, so does civilization and society. It is the sun, and look at the size of that, 1.2 million times larger than Earth. And talking about simple science and how big the planets are against the sun and magnetic fields, cue Extinction Rebellion.
I'm a climate scientist.
What's your area of speciality? What's your area of speciality?
Renewable energy, actually.
You haven't got a clue.
Who's
John Soros? I've got a clue who he is.
Soros?
He funded that.
Mate,
He funded Occupy.
I'm a founder of XR, right? I know where this money comes from.
So, what have you got to say?
I got to say you guys are liars, and you're the ones that are causing the downfall.
Really?
Well, no, you're filming us like Scientology.
Told you this.
But you can't be climate denying.
Don't deny.
Who's climate denying, man?
Fucking is.
Logical fallacy.
It's well known.
Hey guys.
We'll
Trouble.
be in contact.
Thank you. I appreciate
We'll
it.
do it on camera as well.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. No problem. Okay.
Please, an open debate.
And that was a taste for the full 12 minutes. And if you want to get something that will trigger not only Extinction Rebellion, but Al Gore, Adapt 2030 merch. It's not CO2, it's not you, it is the sun. This design here, November, we're coming out with a new design in December. Every month we're going to change it. But the theme remains the same. It is the sun driving our climate. And these long sleeve tees you might need because this stratospheric warming event that is already underway is going to cool the northern hemisphere by several degrees Celsius as polar air gets knocked off center in a natural cycle. Sudden stratospheric warming. And looking at Null School, you can already see the setup there at 10 millibars. So the cold is on the way. You're going to bundle up during the holidays. And that was a nice disruption by Extinction Rebellion with Piers Corbyn, David Dubai, and Sandi Adams sitting here in Glastonbury because they can't accept or even talk about how there's other drivers beyond CO2 that are the full tapestry of how our climate's changing with ocean cycles, wind cycles, cloud bands, intertropical convergence zone moving, different ice patterns off Antarctica as well as Greenland and the Arctic itself. But it only can be CO2 for this crowd. There's no debate. And if you're not 100% CO2, I'm talking about global crop losses that are going to take down our global population by 50% if we don't start talking about solutions. In Glastonbury Town Hall, November 1st, all 4 speakers talking about climate change and 5G and things that are going to be affecting our mind, body, and spirit as we move through these next few years, especially with rising food prices and the way people are going to behave and how governments might try to control the situation. Epic venue here, Piers Corbyn, astrophysicist, Sandi Adams, who was talking about smart cities and the control of society through Agenda 21, now Agenda 2030, and 5G. Also, Mark Windows from Windows on the World. And also in attendance, John Hickson, Primitive Ways, Wildcrafting, and John Kitson, 5gawareness.com. We came up from Tultnest together where I had spoken as well. But the 4 of us were on the stage during the evening, Glastonbury Town Hall. And if you haven't been to Glastonbury, really interesting town, a time capsule. And when you walk by a building that's been used for 500 years as a pub or a business, underground cellars, stonework, cathedrals, it is a must-visit place if you head to the UK. Now, prior to us going off to speak, Sandi Adams was nice enough to take us around for the afternoon. We ended up here at the Abbey. Now, this was a former cathedral that had collapsed over the years of non-repair, but they did repair this one building here off to the side. They called it the kitchen. But when we were inside, I wanted you to notice, I had my good camera lens here and I was able to zoom far up in on the ceiling, but check out that cross that's far up at the top there. Invisible unless you have a lens to get up in there to see it. And also around the grounds, they have their own orchards and gardens, medicinal herbs as well as edibles, and 4 different kinds of apples that I saw. English gardens, and in addition to the raised beds, what I noticed was the fencing was made of wicker. Hadn't really seen that before, not something that we use in the States too often, but close up here, using what nature provides as fencing. And also, since we were in the apple orchard there, they were saying the exact same thing that is happening in the States. The fruit was incredibly small this year. The sugars were not there. They can't even make alcohol out of this because the sugar quality is so poor. Ciders, again, not really happening because of such poor sugar content. I broke one open and take a look at the size of the seeds in there. Okay, the ones on the right, those 2, they might be plantable, but the other 2 on the left, that is not going to be good for agriculture. But I digress. Back to the venue. Sandi Adams spoke first, followed by Piers and then myself, and then Mark Windows last. CO2 is the gas of life. And we do have a climate emergency. It's called the Grand Solar Minimum, and us not being able to grow enough crops on this planet to feed the present population unless we morph our food grow zones and we upgrade our technology for food growth. Not CO2, not you, but this kind of discussion to try to bring out solutions for some of these grand problems that we have was stymied and stifled. Dissenting thoughts, polluting the minds of anybody there. That it might not really be 100% CO2 driving the climate, that there might be other causes that are cyclical, mappable. And as I do roll through the film roll over the next 8 minutes, there were 3 of us filming, so I'm just jumping between the angles. I tried to cut it right on the word, so nothing's really out of place there. And what Wild John from the Primitive Ways YouTube channel rightly pointed out, the Extinction Rebellion logo is 2 inverted pyramids. That is definitely not an hourglass. So I put the dollar bill for better reference so you could see how, if you drew the rest of the circle around it, it would look exactly like their logo. And in 3, 2, 1, cue Extinction Rebellion.
The UN and its agencies' properties and assets where they're located and to whom
This is climate denialism. This has no place here. This has
Science. Science. Science.
About the climate.
Physically force you out of this building.
If you want to physically force me out of the building, I'll call the police.
Oh yeah.
Climate change is all the time when you do it.
No, they can't. No, they can't. This is not about opinion. This is scientific fact. We're killing the planet.
Yeah, we are. That's why people
We're killing the planet. And you're lying in here. You're telling people that CO2 is not the reason.
It's not a sun. It's the sun that drives the
That's absolutely
climate.
everything. But you can't be climate denying.
Don't deny
Who's
the
climate denying, man?
Well, no.
Over here, Primitive Ways, John Hickson. With the
What have you got to say?
I got to say you guys are liars, and you're the ones that are causing the downfall of this industry.
Really?
I will go. I was not allowed in there to listen to it.
Okay, the new totalitarianism. Thank you very much. That's what it is. That's what. Why don't you stay and listen to what we've got to say about it? I've studied this for 20 years.
That's a double-headed
Yeah.
That is Sam Timer.
That's a globalist,
You don't
anti-globalist.
You haven't got a clue.
Who's John Soros? I've got a clue he is.
Soros? He funded that. He funded Occupy.
Founder of XR, right?
I know
the
It's a double-headed pyramid, mate. I went to the Sam Timer
Why do you I just want to ask you a question. If you're the founder,
I'm not the founder. Okay. I've been involved for a long time.
Why did Extinction Rebellion totally misrepresent the IPCC SR15 report?
In what respect?
In every respect. The
No,
lead
what
author
respect?
has...
Please tell me which respect.
Well, the Extinction Rebellion claimed that there is a climate emergency.
Yes.
Right? Is there a climate emergency?
Yes.
Well, obviously there isn't.
Why?
Well, look around you. Is there an emergency?
Yes.
No.
The global south is underwater now.
No, it's not underwater.
People have died.
The sea level rise
California
is
is burning. Siberia is burning. Africa is burning. The Amazon is burning.
But Antarctica has record ice. Antarctica record ice. Antarctica record ice.
Before we thought possible. The methane releases from the permafrost de-thawing literally will wipe out the whole of humanity.
Who told you that?
In one single
Who told you that?
I'm a climate scientist.
And what's your area of speciality?
Information.
What's your area of speciality?
Renewable energy, actually.
I do like the way you're
If you
using
like.
the
Renewable, what you mean, made out of steel, which has been mined out of the ground?
Well, no, it's an interview. You've come here and we're interviewing you.
What I'm saying is that you think renewables are green, they're made out of steel and aluminium and formaldehyde.
What, and so you think that, like,
No, I don't,
fossil
mate.
fuels are great?
I'm into primitive skills and permaculture. That's
Right.
I'm on ancestral skills. But all these renewables, like smart technology and solar panels, what the hell is green about them? They're mined out of the ground.
Keep the voice
They're
down.
made, yeah, solar panels are made out of aluminium.
Silicon, which is the
Why don't you do it outside? Yeah, go outside, outside. Go outside. Let's do it outside. Let's go outside. Let's go outside.
saying that
Come on,
making
let's go
solar
outside.
panels out of silicon.
What about dirty electricity, buddy? Solar panels emit dirty electricity that make you sick.
They are causing the
This
disruption.
is the fire exit, sir. This is the fire
I'm
exit.
standing to one side. You guys are blocking the fire exit. No, you guys are blocking the fire exit. Time to go.
So these are Extinction Rebellion. Extinction Rebellion.
Standing to one side. The fire exit is free.
For a clear communication.
Okay, are you up for a debate? Are you up for a proper debate?
Well, no, you're filming us like Scientologists do.
No, that's another logical fallacy. We're not Scientologists, okay? No, she did. She said we were like exactly. So you're using logical fallacies all the time. Now, yes, you are.
This could be great for an open debate.
Yeah, but like, I've just been turfed out of here.
Because you started shouting.
I only started shouting when I was told that I wasn't allowed to go in there.
No, you refused to pay, sir.
Okay, yeah.
You refused to pay.
Yeah, right. So what? Do you charge people to tell them lies?
No, people.
hang on a minute.
I will stand out there and give a free lecture.
Okay, no, yeah, I'm sure you will. You've already given us a lecture. Point is this, yes? I will talk to you any time and present my prima facie evidence, and you present yours. What about that?
Okay.
Let's do it then.
Yeah, let's do it.
With your email, we see our website.
I also, okay, many of us, okay, are questioning all of
Can we
us
move it out that way, please?
Surely,
Come on.
critical
Can
minds open conversation, okay?
Can we get down to steps
Okay,
towards
open
the front,
conversation, okay? I'm here to learn. I look at both sides, okay?
There is no both sides when you're talking about the extinction of all life on the planet. This is not about opinion. No.
You're not welcome, mate. You need to go.
I realise that.
No.
No, you're in a public place. You stormed into a public venue. You stormed into a public venue.
Stop being a jerk.
Stop being a jerk. So, sorry, you're literally portraying is going to kill the population of the world.
What have I done? I've just asked you to leave. I've done nothing else. I've come to this event. Well, everybody's asking you to
PCC and everything. Get us on the call.
These people in here.
Did you get his details?
No, it's heading districts.
He's causing a problem. I'm asking him to get out.
Everybody is welcome for an open debate.
Not if they're going to cause trouble.
We'll be in contact.
Thank you. I appreciate
We'll
it.
do it on camera as well.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, no problem. Okay.
Please, an open debate. And these people are asking money.
Well, that's not how you have an open debate, guys like that.
And that was a nice disruption by Extinction Rebellion with Piers Corbyn, David Dubai, and Sandi Adams sitting here in Glastonbury because they can't accept or even talk about how there's other drivers beyond CO2 that are the full tapestry of how our climate's changing with ocean cycles, wind cycles, cloud bands, intertropical convergence zone moving, different ice patterns off Antarctica as well as Greenland and the Arctic itself. But it only can be CO2 for this crowd. There's no debate. And if you're not 100% CO2, I'm talking about global crop losses that are going to
take down our global population by 50% if we don't start talking about solutions. And then there's people here disrupting this. It's more about solutions than it is explaining the science. But to close down all debate like this, what's the point of closing down all the debate? See, this Extinction Rebellion says they want to make change, yet all they want to do is close down debate and talk about no change. So for me, it's they're trying to do the exact opposite of what they're trying to achieve with their goals and means. So welcome to Extinction Rebellion, trying to storm into a meeting that's a paid venue anyway, clearly written at the door, clearly advertised. If you're going to come in there, it's a paid venue to come into. So anyway, we're going to get up there and speak again. A little disruptor. Extinction Rebellion. Go extinct.